So tonight I just got done watching the Katsuhiro Otomo film Akira from 1986. Now tonight's viewing was the second of two viewings. 2 nights ago I went and saw this same film, but it was the subbed version, and tonight was the dubbed version. Now just to give you a little bit of background on this first of all, a friend of mine, Rich, booked me in to see this. I was like, oh, Akira, yeah, I saw that many years ago, but I couldn't really remember much about it. So I turned up watching that 2 nights ago, not realizing what it was, and I don't even think he did as well. So just prior to going in, I was like, oh, it's a subtitled movie. So the whole thing's in Japanese with subtitles. The last time I did that, I watched a Chinese documentary movie, and I turned up not realizing that was subtitled, and I had a real hard time with it. When I'm at home, when you've got a smaller screen, it's a lot easier to take those subtitles in because the frame is so much smaller, so you only slightly have to look down to see the text. When it's on a big screen, I find I have a lot more trouble with this because the screen's so much bigger, so I find myself looking right up and right down, even if it's for a brief second. And I just find it's quite taxing to do that. And so we watched it subtitle version. I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna at least owe this review to go and watch the dubbed version as well, so I can get the full experience, both versions. So anyway, let's get into it. So upon second viewing of the film, I actually prefer the dubbed version of it as opposed to the subbed version. As for the reasons I already stated, I could just sit back and relax and enjoy it more, take it in more. Also, by watching the dubbed version, allow me to really appreciate what I feel this is the movie's strongest thing, and that is the animation. The animation is just absolutely amazing. The world it creates, the feeling it gives you watching it. You're watching a cartoon, but it's a mature cartoon. I really love that aesthetic about it, and to have this whole Neo Tokyo vibe to it was really, really cool. I really absolutely loved that part of it. It's unsurprising that this film basically introduced Western audiences to Japanese animation movies, and I feel a big part of that is because of its style. Now let me touch also on the sub version of it. The lip sync is all better, that all works, but as far as the lip syncing, that to me that doesn't really play a part in it, because I'm not going to be staring at the characters' lips because I'm too busy looking up and down reading text. I feel the voice cast of the dub version do a fantastic job, and a lot of the times their mouths actually do sync up with the words, so I think they do a fantastic job. Now, I'm aware that there are 2 versions of the dubbed, and the one I watched was the newer version of that. The voice cast for both versions do a fantastic job, but my preference again is the dubbed version of that. Onto the action in the movie, I thought the movie had very good action. I like the way it starts out. I like the environments it creates. I like the build up towards the end where it feels like a war's breaking out. I love all the corrupt government feel and the gangs. All that's really, really good. Now let's move on to story, and I'm glad I watched it a second time, as I said, because I much better understood the story on the second viewing. I understood what the characters were with the numbers on their hands, totally understood the government's role and their motivations. But that's where, for me, the positives do come to an end, because for me, this movie's biggest problems is its story and its characters. The story is a little bit messy. Now, I know they took the book and crammed it into this movie, and that's why it can feel a little bit like that. But sometimes I feel like they should have just stopped and made a point clearer, as opposed to try and introduce more depth in certain areas of the film. And where they add that depth in is where it drags a little bit. In the middle, I feel that that's the part of the movie that does drag the most. The start is really cool, all the bike chases, all that bit's really fantastic. All the bit at the end where his powers are realized and he's like an unstoppable force. Tatsuo I'm talking about. I think it's Tatsuo. I think I got that name right. All that bit's really, really good. The middle does drag, and I feel like the middle drags because it fails to drive the story forward. It just feels like it just hangs around in one area. But also the characters really do lack depth, and they're unlikable. But my attention was sort of waning a little bit because there's no one to root for. And I feel like in a film like this, you should have someone to root for when you're coming up against an evil and unstoppable force. We don't really get to understand any fringe level backstories to these characters. And then now for my last negative is the soundtrack. It's probably controversial to say this, but I really do not dig the soundtrack. The bit with the drums where you hear it in the bike chase scene, that one's probably its best piece of music in it. I didn't mind that bit, it was actually all right. I get it, it fits the culture, but because I prefer the dub version, I feel like at least for the dub version, they should probably made it more, give it a more Western vibe, because some of it does feel like it falls completely silent, and I feel like you could have added sounds in there to really give it more of a feeling, as I've seen done in other ones. Take for example Street Fighter, the 1994 animated movie. That's actually one of my favorite Japanese animes. To be fair, and to be honest with you, I haven't seen that many, so I've seen hardly any, to be honest with you. But that one I really do like, and the reason I bring that up is in the dub version of that, they really do give it a Western vibe, an American type vibe. Controversial to say because it is a Japanese movie ultimately, but I feel like in a Western version, to give it that, to make the ride feel a lot more of a smoother ride, sometimes the soundtrack can help with that, and I feel like that could have been a helpful source here. As far as the other sounds in it, the other pieces of music, yeah, I really didn't dig with them. They didn't do anything for me. So now on to the rating. Let me just say though, first of all, I do dig this movie's concept. I really like the story in terms of what it's trying to get across. I'm just not a big fan of how it was executed. As I said, the characters were thin, there was no depth to them. The soundtrack I didn't really like, but the animation and the action is fantastic. So I'm going to give this movie, I've been umming and ahhing about where I should place this since I've come out of the movie, and I don't want to give it a good because from the reasons I stated it a little bit, it might be a bit hard for me to put it in the good category from what I've said in my review. But I also cannot say that this movie is a bad movie because I did enjoy it somewhat. So I'm going to say that this film is watchable. That's probably not the best way to describe this. It feels a little bit better than watchable for me, but as that's the category system I've got, I'm going to place this as watchable. For first time viewers experiencing this film, I would say go with the dub version. That way you can sit back, relax and enjoy the film, because you can get very easily confused by the story. And if you're having to read text as well, you can miss things, as I did on a first viewing. The purists out there, the people who absolutely love this film, they will go with the sub version. I totally get that. When I went in for the first viewing, the cinema was absolutely packed, and in with this dub version, it was about half full. So that just goes to show you where most people sit when it comes to this movie. But let me know if you have seen Akira in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the movie. Let me know if you agree with anything I said or completely flat out disagree. I would love to hear your feedback. And also tell me, do you prefer the sub version or the dub version? And also let me know some recommendations for other Japanese animation movies, but specifically, can you recommend ones to me where you feel like for first time people watching? Because I would really call myself more of a first time viewer of or a beginner level for Japanese animation movies. Let me just put it out there that I have seen Street Fighter animated, which I already said, and I did see Fist of the North Star growing up, but I can't really remember anything about it. But anyway, give me some recommendations for that. I'd love to hear them. As always guys, if you made it this far in the video, leave us a like and subscribe, and check out my other playlists which include movie reviews, movie locations, movie attractions and so much more. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies.